Hello pilots, I'm Wes from MotionRC.com, and today we are checking out the next aircraft in the 750mm Warbird line from Skynetic. Now the coolest thing about these aircraft is these come with retractable landing gear. Now if you've had a small Warbird in the past, you know how rare that is. This is the smallest aircraft that I know of that actually come with these right out of the box. Now, speaking of coming out of the box, we'll talk a little bit about the assembly, but as always, we have a full assembly video available for you. But this aircraft comes completely painted with all your electronics pre-installed inside of it, outside of your receiver and your transmitter, and of course, your battery. Now, when you go to put this aircraft together, you're gonna need some foam safe CA or some foam tack to actually attach some of your control surfaces on the aircraft. But you definitely have to have some thin foam safe CA to put the CA wicking hinges on the rudder. Outside of that, you've got one screw that holds the wing on, and it's pretty much put together after that. It's really one of the more simple aircraft you're gonna find in the lineups to put together. Now, a lot of the times they ask, why do you choose a certain aircraft to model over something else? Well, we did the Avenger first for something completely different, but the P-47 is kind of a staple in the Warbird lineup. You know, as I've been growing up for years, they've always said the first Warbird you should have is a P-47, and I'm glad they chose the Razorback because the Razorback is the prettier one to me. I know a lot of guys like the bubble tops. And for the color scheme, Passionate Patsy, it was chosen because it's actually a really easy aircraft to see. You have the white tail on the back and the white leading edges with the yellow nose. It really makes this one pop in the sky, and it presents really well. You know, it's smaller, but it really flies like a bigger aircraft. You know, Chris deliberately spent a lot of time in the shape of the wing and the tail to get this aircraft to fly as best as it can. And I was shocked how easy it was to do touch and goes. This plane comes down, it settles in, it hits the mains, and it'll drive right down the runway without bouncing around, which really shocked me because when they get this small, doesn't take much to get them airborne again when you hit a rock or something, but this one really sticks to the ground well until you give it a little bit of elevator. Now, the other cool thing about this paint job, Chris has been very specific with going with federal standard colors and working with the factories to get these paint jobs as accurate as possible, and it really shows when you look around this aircraft from all the panel lines and everything, the markings, and once again, that color is just perfect on this aircraft. Now, let's talk about what actually powers this little model for right now. You run this on a 1000 milliamp 3S LiPo with the JST connector. And you can actually take that and slide it forward and back a little bit to hit CG. Now, CG is gonna be 50mm to 55mm back from the leading edge of the wing. And if you wanna take and make a little mark on the wing so you know where it is, you can. What I've been going off of is there's actually an injection mold mark right in front of the canopy that ends up right at that 50mm. So if you put your fingers just to the outside of that and hold it upside down, you can actually balance it that way. Now, I get this request a lot. Does it matter with the wheels up versus the wheels down? It does not in this case because they fold straight to the center of the aircraft. So you can do this wheels out or wheels in when you CG this model. Now, as far as my control throws go, Page 8 of your manual is going to show you exactly how to set up your throws, and if you do have one, you can use one of our Benchcraft throw gauges to actually measure this out. Now, I ended up just flying on the high rates, but there are cuts if you want to use the low rates also, but it really felt good on high with this aircraft to me, and so I didn't really feel like I needed it. I did run a little more expo. I ran around 20% just to kind of soften up the stick. And I also ran about 20% expo on the rudder because whenever you're driving it around, she gets a little twitchy if you start putting a lot of control input in, so that helps you drive it a little bit better. Now, speaking of driving this aircraft on the ground, another cool thing with this small of aircraft is you actually have a steerable tail wheel underneath the aircraft. It does not retract. Got to get to our bigger models for that, but it is nice that that's modeled and that they put the gear doors back here just to give it that little more scale accuracy. Speaking of scale accuracy, I love the fact that you got a 4-bladed scale propeller on the front of it, and even the size of it looks really good for this little model. And I love that it's all painted in the correct colors. I mean, really knocked it out of the park on this model. For the scale details, you also get the gun ports up on the front of the wings and the pitot tube out on the left-hand side wing. You also get a pilot figure, and all these items are pre-painted and pre-installed for you right out of the box. Now, for your channel count on the aircraft, you're gonna need a total of 5 channels to take advantage of everything in this model. Technically 6 if you're gonna use reverse thrust, but I highly recommend you don't use it on this aircraft. All it's gonna do is make you flip over. Now, your 5 channels are your retracts, your ailerons, your elevator, your rudder, and your throttle. And this model was designed to fly without a gyro, but of course, if you want a 6-channel and be able to do a mode switch for your gyro, that would make a 6-channel aircraft. I did personally use a gyro. It makes these little aircraft just fly that little bit bigger, and helps their presence in the air and mitigate the wind if you're out flying these things on a crosswind day. Well, pilots, I'm Wes from right here at MotionRC.com. It's again a very exciting day because our Warbird line grows again. And as always, whether it's air, land, or sea, you can get it right here at Motion RC. I can't wait to do some more of these aircraft with you guys. Bye!